What's up, everybody? Once again, my name is Matt, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. In the last episode, we finished off a few more shrines in the Akala region, as well as this one shrine that I forgot to finish off on Tingle Island. And in this episode, well, there's a few more shrines I'd like to quickly take out here in Akala. And then afterwards, what do you say we recover more of Link's missing memories? I mean, it's been a very long time since we've done that, and I feel kinda bad about it, so how about we do this? How about we recover 2 of them in one video? Yeah, sounds like a good idea to me. Now, there really aren't too many shrines left here in Akala. In fact, I think after we complete, like, these 2, there's really only going to be one more left, but that shrine requires an item we don't currently have, so it might be a little while before we can fully complete that one. In the meantime, though, I'm sure we can find other things to do. In fact, there's some pretty cool side quests that I do want to take care of in both Akala and Hateno. And, you guys have been, like, asking about those side quests for a while now, so I am, of course, more than happy to oblige. But before we get carried away, let's go and take on these shrines. One of them, yeah, very easy to spot. Straight from the tower, we can just, like, glide right over to it and take this one on. It's kind of funny, too, because both leftover shrines here in Akala are combat shrines. Something that we haven't done in a very, very long time. I want to say, like, the last combat shrine that we did was back in the Hebra region, like, you know, all those snowy mountainous areas. I think it was back there where we took on, like, a bunch of combat shrines, but since then, yeah, we really haven't seen too many of them. So I guess it'll be nice to sort of get back into the swing of things, so to speak, and we might actually see a lot of these more often now because, well, we're in a completely different section of the map, and like I said, it's been a while, so get used to them, I guess. Anyways, though, let's start things off nice and easy by stepping into this shrine, and we'll see just how hard this first combat shrine is. I might be a little bit rusty, who knows. Alright, so to kick things off, we have a minor test of strength. Alright, that's good actually, because this will allow me to get back in the swing of things. Anyways, I should be okay with the loadout that I currently have. I mean, it's only a minor test of strength anyway, so if I was going up against, like, a major test of strength, I would consider changing my tunic to my strongest one, but, I think we did upgrade the, climbing gear enough to the point where it's kind of comparable to what our, like, other gear is, because I think our champion's tunic and Hylian trousers are only, like, up to number 8 on defense, whereas the climbing gear is all 5s. So, I mean, I'm losing maybe 6 total defense by not swapping to my champion's tunic and Hylian trousers. Not really that big of a deal. Alright, so now that that is done, I will take all of that. And man, I didn't get a single ancient gear. Kind of mad, man. Like, I need, what, 23 of those to finish the Guardian armor set, which, I mean, again, I really don't need. Like, a lot of you guys were saying that, you know, I should get them because, the Guardian resistance is, like, really good, blah-de-blah-de-blah. But here's the thing, guys. I've already beaten this game before, and, Guardians aren't really that hard to kill. Like, I don't want to seem like I'm coming off as cocky or anything like that, but by no means is that armor set in any way required. It doesn't really make that big of a difference. Like, sure, once you have it and once you get it upgraded, it does help out a lot, and it does increase the damage that Guardian weapons do if you use them, but, I tend to not really use them too much, to be totally honest. Guardians, once you sort of learn how to fight them, are very easy to take down. Like, the hardest thing is the Guardian drones, but even then, for the most part, you can either just reflect the beams back at them or run away from them fairly easily. So, for myself personally, I don't think the Guardian armor is the most important thing in the world. I just kind of wanted to get it during this LP because it's something that I didn't get on my personal playthrough. So I figured, you know, since I do have the means to get it, might as well do it just for the sake of, like, having it, you know? I do eventually want to get, like, all the armor sets in the game. It's just that right now there are some more important things that we need to take care of first. Like, I could go back and buy the headdress for the Snow Quill set, or the rest of the Zora armor and stuff like that. But it's just I'm saving the money that we do have right now for some other stuff. Mainly, a side quest that takes place in Hateno, and also, like, reviving the 2 other great fairies that we have yet to find here in Hyrule. So, once we sort all that stuff, then we can go back and buy the missing armor pieces and stuff like that. But, yeah, so the moral of what I was trying to say is everything in this game is kind of optional, so I don't really need anything, so to speak, and, you can pretty much beat this game any way you want. No one way is better than the other. Alright, that being said, let's jump off this cliff, glide down, because there is a bunch of breakable rocks here, so let's use our slow-mo, grab these bomb arrows, and blow ourselves an opening. That way we can reach this shrine. I'm pretty sure, as I said, this is going to be another combat shrine, so I'm ready, man. Like, that minor test of strength got me pumped up. I don't think there's a thing that this game can throw at me right now that I won't be able to handle, unless, like, you know, it was like 5 silver Lionels, in which case then, yeah, I probably would die. But, you know, as far as shrines go, I'm ready. So this is a modest test of strength. Oh man, we're getting like all of them here. We're going minor, modest. All we need is like a major test, and then we'll have all 3 versions. So let's see what this guy's got. Just a axe and a sword. Nothing too scary. Ooh, coming out with the lasers right away, my man. I see how it is. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna use my Knight's Claymore until it breaks, then. I'm actually okay with, like, a few of my weapons breaking, because, to be totally honest, I have, like, too many weapons right now, so I might actually just use a bunch of them, so hopefully they do break, and I have more room in my inventory for, like, other weapons, which I know seems kind of stupid, right? But I'm trying to be less of a hoarder than I have been, because that's sort of a problem that I have. Like, I have a couple weapons in my inventory that just, like, I'm not using because I want to save them, and, like, I don't want them to break, which seems really stupid, but, I can't help myself, man. Like, the Fierce Deity Sword and the Wind Waker Boomerang, I really don't want those weapons to break, which is why I'm not exactly using them all that much. Anyways, come on, man. You got, like, 2 HP left. Can you just die for me? Come on, there we go. Jeez. Alright, I'll take that Guardian Sword, and I will take that Battle Axe in just a second once this cutscene's over. There we go. And oh my gosh, that is so many ancient gears. Thank you so much. I think we just got like 3 of them there, so we should really only need like 20 more, and then we can buy the rest of like the Guardian armor set. And a Sapphire, not bad at all. Alright, so now that we've done these 2 shrines, what do you say we go and collect some of Link's missing memories? The next one that I want to get is pretty far away though, so there's going to be some travel involved. Like, we actually need to go back to probably the Great Plateau, which is a place we haven't been to in a very long time, but I think that's going to put us closest to, like, the region where the next memory is. So, my plan, as I said in the previous episode, is to go to this region, activate the tower, get the memory, and then leave. Now, unfortunately, in doing that, we probably will activate the cutscene where we see the next Divine Beast, but, it'll be a while until we actually get to the point where I'm ready to appease that Divine Beast. And I just realized the only parts of the map we have yet to fill out are the lower 3rd section. That's crazy to me. Like, we've covered so much of Hyrule already, and if you think about it, like, we've completed a lot of those regions in terms of shrines, which is just like, dang, dude, that sort of put everything in perspective for me. Like, at this point, I guess we are over halfway done with the game. You know, sometimes it is kind of hard to tell with a game like this, like how far you really are into it just because of how big it is and how much there is to do, but I think the biggest thing left for us is kind of the Korok seeds. And I'll be honest, I am going to miss this game. Like, there's still plenty to do, but now I can sort of see the end in sight already, which is weird, because I remember before this game came out, I was talking with some of my other friends, and we were, like, estimating how long it would take us to beat the game and stuff like that. And I jokingly said that I would probably beat it in around 50 parts, which, to be honest, I think if I were to, like, go back and do everything over again and streamline the crap out of my own playthrough, I probably could beat the game in that many videos with them being around 30 minutes each. Like, I'll be honest, the first couple of videos I made on this series, while I still think they're good videos, I probably could make minor optimizations here and there that would have sped a few other things up along the line, and that's just due to the fact that at the time of making those videos, there were certain things that I didn't really know about, and now that I have that knowledge, it would change how I do certain things here and there, and it's just so cool to see how the game sort of evolved a little bit, because, you know, I had the unique advantage of being able to draw on my personal playthrough before I started this LP on day one, so I knew a little bit about the game, but, at the time, like, it was just me and maybe a handful of, like, other people who had access to the game at that time, so our knowledge was limited to what we knew and what we experienced. Then, you know, once the game came out to the masses, holy crud, like, we barely scratched the surface with what we knew. Like, there is so much more information out now, it is crazy. And then, of course, my job is to take that information and relay it to you guys in video form, so by now, you guys probably know just about as much as I know about this game, I would say. Maybe there's a few things that I know more just because I haven't shown it off in videos yet, but, you know, if you've played the game for yourself, chances are you've gotten farther than I have, or have done other side quests that I have yet to do yet, so I would say it's probably about equal, except there are a few of you in the comments who do manage to tell me, like, little tidbits here and there of things that I didn't really know. Like, for instance, the minecart thing with the bombs. I don't know why I never thought to do that, but it makes so much sense now that I realize that you can do that. So, it's little things like that, and that's honestly been one of the most fun things about playing through this game for me, because I think this is actually the first time, well, actually that's not true, but it's very close to the first time that I've done, like, a Zelda playthrough on day one. I mean, I'm pretty sure I did that with, like, Link Between Worlds and technically Triforce Heroes as well. Those are a little bit different because those were, like, traditional Zelda games where they still had the Zelda Formula, so there really wasn't a whole lot of quote-unquote discovery to do in that game, whereas this game, pretty much everything has the opportunity to be new and interesting in some way. So, what I'm trying to say is, some of my favorite moments from this entire Let's Play project have just been, like, reading the comments and learning things from you guys, and then hopefully being able to teach more of you through my videos and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, that whole interaction that we've had throughout this entire project has been a lot of fun for me. That being said, though, here we are on the Wasteland Tower. Now, if you don't have Rivali's Gale, you can still get to the top of this tower. It is surrounded by a dangerous bog, so you can't just, like, walk through it. There are metallic boxes that are sort of lining the edges, though, so use magnesis, stack those boxes on top of each other, and you can pretty much use those to make a bridge to get to the tower. Anyways, Let's activate this bad boy. Sheikah Tower activated. Scanning area. And bam, look at that. Ain't that a big region? Holy crud. Regional map extracted. I dare say that's one of the largest chunks of the map in the game. Alright, so now that we got that real quick, I'm just going to place a pin about over here because that's where our memory is. So, let's just jump off the tower and glide towards that direction. You can actually spot a couple of shrines up here along the way, but as I said, I'm not going to bother with those right now. Yeah, the Wasteland region is kind of strange. It's really large, so everything is obviously spread out. There's not too much there, though. I mean, obviously, it is a desert, so kind of what you would expect. Now, in terms of weather, the desert is quite interesting. So during the day, it gets really, really hot, and then during the night, it gets a little bit colder, kind of like how a real desert would work. So what you put on is going to change depending on the time of day. We're warm right now just because, you know, I have the Great Flame Blade hanging off my back, so that should keep us in check while we go through here. We're not really going to spend too much time, and yeah, the weather meter just ticked over to the colder side, but we're still going to be fine with our Great Flame Blade. Like, the weather here doesn't really dip into the extremes too much. It just varies from hot to cold, so you're gonna wanna, you know, pay attention to the weather meter if you don't have like too many things on you that can like negate the cold or fight away the heat. That being said, though, we are just about here. The second I land, there's gonna be a cutscene. And yes, that's the next divine beast, but we're not gonna worry about that right now. Instead, directly in front of us is the next memory, so let's do it. Dang, would you look at that? We saved Zelda's life here. That's pretty neat. Alright, so, like I said, that's all we're doing here. We got the memory. Let's get out of here. We'll come back a little bit later on, but I do want to discover another memory, which I marked with that star, and I'll replace it with that pin. So, let's just teleport to this shrine back in the Elden region. We'll grab that memory, then... Well, it sort of works out for us, too, because that last shrine that I was talking about in the Akala region, the item that we need to, I guess, activate it, is located in the Elden region, so it's almost like everything's going according to plan as I stroke my non-existent beard. You know, I probably should have put on my Flame Breaker armor set before I teleported here. We'll just have to do it like super quickly and hope we don't burst into flames in the meantime. Dude, I have too many, like, sub-menus for my material, but there we go. Yeah, we were just starting to smoke, so all good, man. All good. Is there actually a way to go through your inventory by section to section? Because I know you can press, like, L and R to go to, you know, the inventory screen, the quest screen, and the save screen, but, I don't think you can, like, just quickly swap from materials to, armor to bows, swords, all that junk without like going through these sub menus if you do have them, because you know I now have like what 5 sub menus for materials just because I've been collecting pretty much everything, and then I have what like 2 sub menus for armor now. I could potentially have like 2 sub menus for food, which obviously takes a couple of flicks to go through. So if there was a way to like just go from section to section instantly, someone let me know, because I still obviously don't know about that, even though by now I've like invested probably close to 150 hours into this game across both of my playthroughs. So yeah, I feel like something like that I would have eventually stumbled across on my own, but maybe I didn't, who knows. That being said though, let's just try and scale this mountain, because this next memory is pretty dang cool. Like the one we just saw, cool, don't get me wrong, I like it, but there wasn't really any dialogue. You just got to see Link being Link. At least this next memory will give us some dialogue, so it's right up here. Let's get rid of this fire keys and, well, get ourselves another memory.
That cut doesn't look too bad, actually. You're fine for now. But you know, there's a fine line between courage and recklessness. As brave as you are, that does not make you immortal. It seems that not only is the frequency of these types of attacks on the rise, but the scale of beasts we are facing is intensifying as well. I fear that this is an omen which portends the return of Calamity Ganon. And, if that's the case, I'm ready to expect the worst. We'll need to make preparations as soon as possible.
Okay, so I just want to point out one thing from that cutscene. If there was any question to if Link was a competent swordsman, put those aside, because, did you see that carnage that was behind them? That was like 17 million silver Lionels just dead. I can barely kill one of those guys, and Link 100 years ago, apparently he could just take him out no problem, so dude knew how to use a sword, that is for sure. Like, I can't even think of a better candidate to be the chosen knight of Hyrule, like the Hylian champion, if you will. That being said though, we do have some extra time and a ton of spirit orbs, so what do you say we go into Goron City and exchange those for some heart containers? I think we can get like, what, 3 upgrades again, so might as well do it. And you know what? I think I might put all those upgrades towards hearts, because guess what? If we get 3 more hearts, we'll have 20 heart containers, which is generally speaking the max for any typical Zelda game, but obviously we can go even further beyond in Breath of the Wild and get 30 hearts, but still I think 20 is a pretty decent milestone, so we'll do that. It's probably going to be a while before we upgrade stamina again. Like, to be honest, the 2 full wheels of stamina is quite a bit, and it's more than enough to do like everything that we could ever need to do in terms of stamina. And if we do need anything else, we can just like eat food or make some elixirs, stuff like that. So we're pretty good in the stamina department for now. Alright, now that we're done with that, you know what? I think that's actually a good place to end off this video. So if you guys enjoyed this part, a like rating would be greatly appreciated. If you want to see more of my videos, consider subscribing. But once again, guys, my name is Matt. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, I'll catch you in the next one.